Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Brand Risk Podcast. I'm your host, Arab, along with my co-host, Edwin. And today we have a very special guest, been around the fucking world, full of energy, acting like Tommy, a man who has not only dominated the ranks of being a rock star, but someone who is now diving into the idea of being a Fortnite professional, a very entertaining streamer, and he's on the blow up right now. Tommy, it's a fucking pleasure to have you.
Dude, Arab, Edwin, thank you guys. I am really honored to be here, man. When you sent me the Twitter DM, dude, I was totally fanboying. Pretty exciting. Let's go, boss.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
So you're 52. You're out here playing are you 52? Is that what it is?
I'm about to be 52.
About to be
51
52.
at the moment. I'll be October, 52 in October.
Well, happy birthday for last year.
Thank you, sir.
It's crazy to see you, out here. There's nobody really of your age that's making content like you are on Twitch.
This is true.
And it's cool to see that you're just fucking dominating. You're full of energy, and it's like there's a quote I say all the time, and it's that you can grow up, like you can get older, but you don't have to grow up. You know?
Yeah.
And because a lot of people get caught in the idea that, oh, I'm 20 something now, I gotta be more, professional, and you're clearly an embodiment of what it feels like to be happy all the fucking time, to be to be enjoying life, that a lot of people lose touch of.
For sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I vibe with that, what you're talking about, because I mean, there is something to be said for being responsible, right? Because I mean, I do the adulting thing. I know how to take care of business, right? For sure. But I kind of have stayed a kid at heart, man, because like I think some of the most powerful things as far as like believing in possibility, you know what I mean? And being hopeful and doing the things you love are fucking kid things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, part of the whole growing up thing is the idea that you have to abandon the things you love and you have to become a cog in the wheel of the system. And I don't buy into that at all. You know what I mean? Not at all, man.
No,
but, you know what I'm saying? Like, kids will come into chat sometimes and say, get a real job.
Yeah.
And like the only person who would ever say get a real job is someone who has never actually worked a fucking real job. Like, real jobs suck, dude.
Yeah, true
They
shit.
do. They suck, man.
Bro,
Many of them. There's probably some out there that are good, but I ain't never had one. You know what I mean?
I actually talk to my chat about you like kind of often because I try like giving them little morals of like little life advice.
Edwin talks a lot of shit about people that are doing really well.
Nah, so listen, so whenever we bring you up, I tell them that I'm like a big fan, you know what I'm saying, like from a distance, because I respect the fact that, dude, for some reason my chat thinks that when they turn 30 they die. They think that when you turn 30, it's just over. You wake up one morning when you're 30 and you have a suit and tie and you just have to fucking, go to work or whatever. And I tell them, like, we talk about you and I'm like, dude, I actually have a lot of respect for him because I know that there's probably a lot of hate, a lot of like shit talking from like little kids about like his age specifically. But if anything, you are a shining example that you can be whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really fucking cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I mean, it's obviously with gaming, it's just hard if you're not, gaming is dominated by teenage boys. So if you're different from that, there's always going to be a little resistance.
Right.
But I'm still kind of a teenage boy. I mean, if you ask my lady, dude, she knows.
You have a lady.
I'm still like 15, boss.
You have a lady.
I do,
Is your lady a little bit younger than you?
She is, she's quite a bit younger than me.
How much?
I mean, we don't disclose the age, but she's definitely younger than me, boss. But
listen, you're winning at life, man. Hey,
yeah.
The thing, it's much different because a lot of people that listen to this podcast are a lot younger and they don't understand the dynamic, right? It's much different when it's a 30-year-old dude and a fucking 17-year-old chick. Like that's
oh yeah,
that's not,
that's just weird.
And if you're a fucking 50-year-old dude and you're bagging a 30-year-old chick that's in her prime, like, Hey, all I'm saying is I'm 24, and if a cougar came up to me, like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, because ultimately at the end, it's not about the age thing. It's about the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
And if you understand each other, and like, that's just it. Like me and Jenny, it'll be 8 years at the end of this month.
Wow.
Whoa.
And we've been through a lot together, like she saw me, like, because I stumbled upon streaming. Like, I never intended to do this. I was in the film industry, former rock and roller guy. I had been trying to make a career as a director. I've been directing some TV commercials. I got this indie show on Amazon Prime. And
really?
I was
What's
trying it's called Dick Strange, American Made. It's not for the younger
Sounds
guys.
like some Jackass shit.
It is. It's a little, ironically, Danger Aaron from Jackass is a friend of mine.
No way.
And I wrote the show for Danger Aaron to play the main character, but he couldn't because of like the Red Bull tours. And so I ended up playing Dick Strange. And then I was trying to sell that show, going to LA and trying to make it as a screenwriter. Like, I wanted to write screenplays. And I was taking meetings down there with like showrunners that run TV shows and stuff. And I was failing at it. And we were living on credit cards and the bills were piling up. And ironically, it was my kid. I have a 16-year-old kid, right? And he quit playing Fortnite. So I started queuing up with random duos. And every single random duo said, "Are you streaming right now? You sound like a streamer." And that's what made me try it. I was depressed. I was failing as a screenwriter. And I was like, fuck it. I love Fortnite like nothing else. So I'll give it a try. And it just kind of like took off, dude.
Yeah, you haven't been on. Yeah, you haven't been on for long, huh? It's been what, a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, it's coming up on 2 years this summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people find that much success that fast.
Dude, yeah, it was like a big accident, But see, about the Jenny thing is she was with me while the credit card bills were racking up, and then she saw me do the streaming thing and was like, "Oh my God, I think you have actually found your calling. Like
somebody
you
that
should
gets
do
you.
this." Yeah, she gets me, and that's what it's really about. I think with the women. It's tough. It took me a while. It took me until I was 43.
Clearly, you've been married before?
I like to dabble. So
I know what that means.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, rockstar life for you, baby.
For sure.
I tell people all the time that I don't think I'll get married till I'm 35. Like, I don't think anyone really get like what we do. It's hard. It's hard to find. I mean, like you said, she was with you with the through the credit card debt, and you were at your lowest, and now she's seen it all. Like, she's stuck with you.
Yeah,
it's hard to find people like that nowadays. I mean, clearly,
it is.
You were what? I assume you were married beforehand, or did you have a kid outside of wedlock?
I've never been married. Right? Okay. Yeah.
But it was a long-term relationship.
What's that?
It was a long-term relationship again.
With the kid's mom.
The first kid, yeah.
With the kid's mom, not really. I mean, we did stay together for a while, but we had actually broken up before we found out she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we found out she was pregnant, I just felt like the universe was calling me to be a dad.
Right.
Because I have a really bad relationship with my dad. My dad was never really a dad.
Right.
And so I decided, at the time I was touring as a one-man indie rock band, and that was finally starting to take some success,
right?
And the movie that you guys are going to talk about, the cocaine stuff, is from that documentary. That was from that time period. And so it was just, I kind of felt like when we found out she was pregnant, even though we weren't going to be a couple, and I never thought we were really going to be a couple, I wanted to be a dad. And I've not regretted that decision at all.
Fuck yeah.
Because it changed me in ways, that like were just the right thing. Even though it did ruin the rock and roll career. It ended the rock and roll career. But, maybe it was time for it to end anyway,
Right. Well, so you were doing that rock and roll thing for how long?
So I played rock and roll like I started in 1990. Right, is when I really started in earnest. I quit UCLA. I had never played an instrument. Just quit UCLA, telling all my friends, dude, I'm gonna start a rock band. And they're like, dude, you're nuts. You don't play an instrument.
What were you going to UCLA for?
I was an aerospace engineering major.
God.
No way.
Right?
That's crazy.
And then I had joined a fraternity. So I was in a fraternity, and like all the guys in the fraternity are like, dude, you don't play an instrument. And I'm like, well, I'll learn one. I'll learn one. I wrote poetry, right? And I just went on this crazy adventure to start a rock band. And like 2 years later, I had this band start. There was a band called Soul Driver in the 90s. We almost got signed to Columbia Records like end of the 90s, but I was like kind of messed up, dude. I had some chemical like habits that were not conducive
you're in
to
rock
success.
and roll. You're in rock and roll.
Yeah, I was a little too rock and roll.
Exactly.
But I did that for probably like 15 years. And yeah, it was like 2004 was when my album Let Go Afterglow came out, and that's when I started touring like alone around the country. And that's around the time they started making that documentary about me. I think they finished filming it in like 2006, and then it didn't come out until like 2011. It took them like years to finish it. Yeah, because they followed me around for 2 years, a camera crew, like, which was crazy. My recommendation, if a camera crew tells you they want to follow you for 2 years, tell them no. It's
like
weird,
a big
dude.
invasion of privacy.
It was a huge invasion of privacy. And even though they made a really honest movie that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, I think it's really unnatural for us human beings to like 8 years later look back and see us 8 years ago, because you kind of feel exploited. Right, because of course they tried to make it,
Did you make so how does that revenue stream work? Is it they pay you per downloads? They pay you a flat fee at first?
Yeah, so right now it's actually in limbo. Like I have people like we're kind of renewing discussions about this, right? Because the way it happened was
like making a new documentary about yourself.
Well, no, they're not making a new documentary, but so they paid me up front, right? And then I had a percentage of the company.
Okay.
And then what they did was the thing went around the film festival circuit and won a bunch of awards. And then they sold it to they sold the rights for a number of years to an Italian film company called Monte Cristo International, and the rights expired, right? So now nobody really has the rights to it except the company who made the film, right? But now, like when I was this indie touring musician, we thought the film was going to be the thing to sort of raise my profile. So the film came. It's sort of sitting in limbo. The guy who originally made the film, he's a lawyer.
What time is this around? Is this right now?
So that was around, it did the festival circuit in 2011. I believe Monte Cristo acquired the rights probably in like 2012, maybe.
And now it's in limbo.
And so now it's in limbo, but now we're kind of like, now we have an end tag to this thing. There
Acting
could
like
be
Tommy,
a little,
right? That you could promote it through, exactly.
Yeah, and there could be a whole, there's more to the story. So right now we're sort of starting to talk a little bit to see.
And not many streamers have a full fucking documentary about their old life.
I know, dude.
Right?
It's pretty weird. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of weird, I just have so much content, with music and the documentary, and there's video stuff. There's a lot of avenues.
Right,
My merch store is going to be unbelievable when it comes out.
Are you still passionate about music? Do you still make music or?
So there's a yes and no. I'm not really making music anymore, Edwin, because I don't have the time. Right now, I've never worked more hours than I have in the last
People
year
don't
and a
realize
half, right?
how much goes into streaming.
I know, streaming, and then I've been doing my own YouTube, I'm doing it myself to 100K before I pass it along.
That's what I did.
I'm editing all my own
200K.
videos.
Yeah.
Dude, and I'm almost halfway there. We're gonna hit 50K this week, boss. I'm so excited.
My man.
And so 2021 is the year of the YouTube grind. So I haven't been making music, but I've kind of been sidelining music. You'll notice, a lot of my content, whether it's the YouTube or the Phase 5 stuff we did, or even this G Fuel promo, I use music like very much, like the music and the vibe of music. So I've been kind of like playing music through editing other pieces of music to fit video content, but I have not actually been making it. But I'm thinking like there's going to be some live concert stuff coming, and I think me and Jenny actually are, because she's a singer and a piano player and she's incredibly gifted, my lady is. I think we might do a music project, you know, and there's kind of like, I'd kind of like to collaborate with some current musicians in the scene too, maybe. You know what I mean?
So, why not stream yourself doing that stuff?
Yeah. I've done it a little bit on TikTok live, actually. Like some songwriting, but now I've been so distant. I have to go back and learn my own songs, dude.
Right.
I don't even remember how to play some of those.
Would you play primarily? Like, what was your instrument of choice?
My main instrument was singing and playing guitar, and then a little bit of keyboard. I usually had a keyboard on a keyboard stand too. But when I was with the Wanteds, like if you go to my album Let Go Afterglow, I played everything on that record. Drums, keyboards, drum programming, piano, sang, played guitar, recorded it in a studio I built, right? And so I dabble in a little bit of everything. But if I went back to it, I would sing and play guitar with a little bit of keyboard, and then I'd probably do a lot of drum programming. Like I love electronic drums, like making beats.
I think it's kind of sad that like that type of music has taken a back seat to like conventional hip hop, because I think that like, you know, you think in terms of like Bohemian Rhapsody, right? Like Queen, like the amount of effort and skill and talent it took to put that together, as opposed to like, you know, just like an everyday hip hop song that comes out on SoundCloud and then blows the fuck up. Like it's kind of crazy that like you as a person are very talented, like as far as like your ability to play a bunch of different instruments, but like that these days doesn't take you very far, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I mean, in the 90s, it really did that. Like, and I got nothing against hip hop, but hip hop kind of destroyed the rock scene in the 90s.
100%.
In LA, because it just took this thing where the DJ rooms were packing out and the rock bands were like struggling to survive, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, times change, man. You got to evolve. You know, Arab knows this. I mean, we all got to evolve.
I was about to say that. So I was like, he's saying it's kind of sad, and that's because Edwin is like a bigger fan of old school music. But in my opinion,
I mean, metal, dude. I love metal.
Let's go, baby. My lady kind of loves the metal, dude.
Being able to make like a sick beat on FL Studios is a skill in itself too, right? Understanding the rhythm and being able to put that together. It's just that it's now on technology, on a computer screen instead of, you know, on a.
Yeah, and sometimes it's different kind of genius too, because it's like finding the right sample. You know, like, look at like Lil Nas, what he did with fucking Trent Reznor's sample. You know what I mean? That banjo snippet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so I think what the skill is instead of like playing the instruments, it's more like you're playing the equipment. You're playing the after effect,
you're like composing it. You know what I'm saying?
Are, yeah. It's like it's kind of like, and I mean, I guess it goes along with the way we now make stuff on our phones instead of making stuff with our hands, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to go back and research the computer if I could just, you know, get all the best parts of a computer and make one?
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't. You just gotta keep. You have to adapt.
You do. Yeah. I kind of love technology, though, man.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Pretty cool.
So you got out of fucking rock. You had a kid. What happened after that? What was your next form of entertainment?
Well, yeah. So I ironically, see, I'm kind of like the dude where I just sort of go where the universe tells me to go, right? So what happened is after the kid came, rock and roll ended. I did put together a 3-piece band. You know, we recorded this album that's Failure Looks So Good. It was the last album I made. A great album. Recorded straight to 2-inch tape. Edwin, you'd love it, boss. We recorded all the instruments live to 2-inch tape in a killer studio. It was amazing. It's the album I always wanted to make. And then after I made it, I quit playing music. And so I went to an art school in Portland, and I wanted to do footwear design. I wanted to design shoes, right? And so I went in there to talk to this art school about their fashion design program. And after talking to this lady for like 3 hours, you know, I'm a talker, as we all know. And the woman said, you know, I got to tell you, I think you're a film student. I know you're interested in footwear design, but I really think you're a film student. So I went to film school, right? I signed up that day. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to film school. I was 40, right? I was in class with a bunch of 18-year-old kids, dude.
Right.
It was really weird, but I did learn editing. Like I learned editing, I learned sound design. A year into it, I started making money, so I quit school.
How?
And
What were you?
Originally, I was a grip, like making money, like setting up lights on film sets.
Right.
And then I started making money doing sound design for like commercials and you know, little 60-second internal Nike spots and stuff like that, which is really up my alley. You know, I got a Pro Tools set up in my house, and working with audio has kind of always been my deal. And I was really good at, like, I got a really good set of ears, which I don't know why, because I should have destroyed them from rock. But I got known around here for being able to take really crappy recorded audio and make it sound really good.
That's a
skill. Like, I could fix stuff.
That's a skill.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like a fixer. And so that's when I started getting a lot of work.
So you would like
doing that.
You would like people that are listening, because I'm not a sound designer or anything, but I know like tricks and stuff. You can like locate white noise in an audio clip and then sample it and have it remove that white noise from everywhere else. Like it'll look
absolutely.
So that's
or if there's like overloads, you can find a syllable somewhere else in their talk, and you can take just the syllable out and you can tweak it to kind of like replace a missing syllable.
So you can take away Edwin's lisp.
Dude, you can do anything, man.
Or you could give me one.
Dude, yeah. The other stuff I would do would be to, like, if indie films would record audio and the room sounded really bad, I would like take all the audio out of it and I would sort of build the sound of the room. You know,
so you were really into like mixing and mastering then, right? Like
that's yeah, and creating environments, you know, creating moods. Like,
dude,
I'm a mood creator.
I tell Arab this, and like anyone that like ever hears me talk about editing, I think that the music in a video is probably the most important thing of the whole thing, because like I think music is just anything, any sort of like actual visual production. I think music is a very important underlying thing that doesn't get appreciated as much, because I think that music is the most direct way to influence somebody's perception of a situation, like their emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%, dude. You're dead on. Like the music is really important. And then when you get into it with film and like commercials, sometimes it's the sounds you hear. You know what I mean? Like you know, like right now, there's a guy, like, I don't know what he's doing. He's putting someone in a wood chipper outside my fucking office window here. You know, you can put sounds like that. Like, you can put the sound, like in films, they do it really subtly. In a tense moment, they'll put the sound of like a really grating lawnmower outside the window.
So you're testing that right now?
Right, yeah. Yeah, or like a classic example of this is in the movie The Social Network. I love David Fincher, his audio guy. I actually through working in audio, I became friends with one of the guys who does sound editing for David Fincher. And that's where I learned a lot of stuff from this guy. And they use that, like the sound of like fluorescent light bulbs. Just the sound of the light bulb can make you uncomfortable without you even realizing you're hearing it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it's sound is really crazy, dude. It's so important.
Like, out of all the things I've learned through doing YouTube, etc., editing, you know, photoshopping, whatever it is, audio is the one that I never took the time to learn, and I wish I knew, because there's so much shit that you can do with audio, like getting rid of white noise, etc., that and even like that's simple, getting rid of the white noise or whatnot, but I just never took the time to learn it, and it's such a cool thing that I wish I knew. Sound is beautiful.
It's good to know. Sound is beautiful. It's tedious work, though. Dude.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's why I never took the time to, because I always love looking at visual things. You know, like while editing, you can do this effect and you see it in front of your face. Sound, it's like, okay, you do this, you play it over and over and over, you listen to the same fucking sound until you're finally fucking done with it, and it's like, all right, fuck that. You know?
dude, I love music, bro. I really do. There's like times where like I'll like find a new song and I'll listen to it. I'm like, oh my god, whatever the next video I make is, it's gonna have this song in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
dude.
I think
feel ya. I love music too, man.
Provoking emotion through music is like one of the most useful skills to have, I think, when it comes to like, you know, creating stuff. I mean, shit, dude, like you have to work with Nike. Like that's crazy. Like that's insane.
Yeah, it's been like I've lived a wild and varied life, man, for sure. And I feel like I'm just getting started, dude. That's what's crazy.
And that's so beautiful because like we talk about the idea a lot that we can basically do whatever we want whenever we want because that's the field we're in, is content creation. Obviously, you know, there's boundaries because of the fact that, okay, I still have to, you know, get this in. As long as you're doing it towards your work, like you're making content out of it, you can basically do whatever you want whenever you want. So the idea that we don't ever have to grow up, like we were talking the other day, what if we got arrested while doing this bit, you know? and Edwin was like, you know, that's crazy.
See that, actually.
And Edwin was like, what's crazy is if you got arrested in any other field, it would be a bad thing. But if you got arrested in this field, it would be a good thing.
Yeah,
because of PR,
funny, dude.
You know?
That's kind of why I went into rock and roll, was that kind of reasoning, dude. In college, I was like, okay, I like girls and I like to party. What career could I possibly have where those two are like unhinged? I was like, dude, you got to start a rock band.
Bro,
let's go.
I was telling Arab, like, dude, like way back in the day when we were first filming for a different YouTube channel, we were like gonna do something that was potentially gonna get one of us arrested, right? And we all looked at each other and we're like, well, fuck, what happens if we get arrested? And my buddy Merritt goes, who's gonna fire us? and then we just started fucking cracking up. We're like, oh my god, this is a slippery slope to becoming serial criminals, dude. Like there's no real life repercussion to getting arrested because of like what we do, which is like so funny. I mean, other than jail, but like come on. I mean, like no one's gonna fire us from like a 9 to 5 or a job, you know?
Absolutely, that freedom is amazing, and I mean, there is a small price because you have to find a way to stay motivated, right?
For sure.
Because you could sink it too, you know, if you get lazy. Hard.
That's why we're like expanding everywhere that we are, for the fact that we want to be able to film anything we do and make it be able to be work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do. I'm kind of getting ready to do the same thing, moving into the IRL world.
And I think you'd pop the fuck off. And you know what? I think if we actually made videos together, whether we're in you live in LA, right?
No, I'm in Portland right now.
Okay.
Portland, Oregon. Okay. I will be back in LA though at some point. Dude.
Whenever we're in the same state, we are gonna make something banger. Anyways.
Yeah, where are you at? What state are you in?
We live in Florida right now.
You live in Florida? Nice.
Yeah, I moved down here with Edwin so that we could make that stuff.
Dude, when pandemic's over, I'm going to Disney World, dude. We'll make a pit stop.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god, please.
Yes.
Yeah,
please.
We'll make a pit stop, dude. We're gonna make some shit.
Well, it's great you say that because like the other day, yesterday, we went to a roller coaster park called Busch Gardens. But the only reason we went there is so that we could film it. Like, right? It was fun. Like we went there because the experience is cool, but we also wanted to vlog it and make it where it was work. You know, this is something that our viewers are going to enjoy. Like I wouldn't have gone there any other day, you know, just for that reason. I would have gone and fucked around and done something else.
Listen, dude, maybe it's a detriment to my character these days, but like I will not do anything I cannot film. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're gonna go do something, like I'm bringing my camera. Like Arab knows, I have this little satchel that I bring with me. It has my wallet, my phone, and my camera at all times, dude. Like we're downtown, I pull that bitch out. We're filming some shit. Like yesterday when we went to the theme park, dude. Like
we're going down these 100 plus whatever mile an hour they go. I'm telling you, Edwin's sitting there. I'm fucking holding the thing, right? I'm holding the thing like, all right, making sure I don't die, ducking my head, whatever. Edwin's fucking holding the camera out while we're just zooming down these slopes.
Dude, so listen.
He's holding the camera like this and getting the reaction.
Dude, they're so butthurt about like I had a hat on. They made me take my hat off. Like whatever. Dude, every single ride we went on, I snuck my camera in and I pulled it out right as like it starts. And I just held on for dear life, dude. I was like, I cannot drop this thing, dude. But I was telling him, I was like, bro, like yeah, we can just like have this fun time because he's never been there. Like it'll be just cool for the experience or whatever. But I was like, dude, if anyone's gonna grief their experience here, it's me because I've been here so many times and we can go in the future and just enjoy it. But like as much fun as that day was, it was also work. You know what I'm saying? So I pulled that camera out and I was filming that shit, dude. We got some really good footage, bro. Really good.
Dude, I bet you did, man. And that's one of the things that I think is really about this lifestyle that people forget about is it is work. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even being a streamer and stuff, between the streaming and the TikTok and the YouTube, like I am working all the time. Yeah. You know, now I love it.
You do love it. Exactly.
I love networking on social media, dude. I always have. You know, I mean, I was doing it back on MySpace, bro. I was booking tours across the country on MySpace. You know, so
and that's crazy. And your brain is consistently thinking of new ideas, whatever. Everything you think of, maybe it's just me, but I'm sure there's a lot of other content creators that do that. But your brain is consistently, everything you think of is like, how can I make this into content? You know, and there's times where you have to turn it off and realize, okay, like this is, you know, whatever, this is something we should all enjoy off camera, whatever. But for the most part, it's like, how can we up our content to the next level? You know, how can I take this and monetize it?
And it's hard because you got to find what's right for you, right? Which is not necessarily what's right for everybody, you know?
And you've hit this unique niche. Like when is the Let's Go Fuck Nuts merch coming? Like when's that coming?
It's coming, dude. Merch store's coming this summer, bro. We're gonna get the merch store, but it's so cool because there's gonna be Dick Strange merch. There's Acting Like Tommy merch. There's the Wanted merch from my rock and roll.
There better be fuck nuts. I want to walk around with a shirt that says fuck nuts.
Dude, wait till you see, not only is there a fuck nut shirt coming, but it is tied to one of the most classic shirts of my childhood. Like, dude, it's going to be the best fuck nut shirt that has ever been created in the history of fuck nuts.
I will give you a piece of advice.
The history of fuck nuts.
Tommy, I'll give you a piece of advice. I'd say don't roll out all those designs at once because when people see too many designs, they get overwhelmed by the idea. They want to buy them all, that they buy none.
Dude, yeah, no, good idea, good thinking. You don't want to Netflix them, right? Where they spend all their time trying to
Yeah.
And then they're exhausted, like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna go jerk off
when I release mine.
Because I can't find a movie.
I'm on day 7 and 05 today. I'm doing 90 days. Anyways, but that's why I came out with like 2 designs when I came out with mine. You know, it was like, whatever. You like this one's simple. You like the other one's complex, and that's it.
Nice.
And you know, it's like people don't have to go crazy and decide. They just pick whichever color they want, and boom, it's done.
Well, and I have something special that I'm rolling out with the Acting Like Tommy merch that I can't talk about, but I have a feeling after I do this, it might become something more common. It's pretty cool though. It's pretty exciting. It's a twist on the merch idea.
Good for you. What, you get a free babe with every clothes you
dude, I'd be moving on up if that were the case, right? Dude, you get to be Amaranth's microphone, boss. Dude, you know what's so funny? I fucking love her, and it's not even because she's in a bikini. I love the way she punks the haters,
dude,
bro.
I agree with that. And every time a hot tub stream is brought up and Amaranth's name is brought up, you can ask Edwin about this. I always say she's a fucking genius.
Dude, she is a fucking genius. And she reminds me of me. Like, I see the way she puts the haters in their place. And I'm like, dude, that is me right there. Dude, I don't look quite as good as in a bathing suit yet, but I'm gonna start working out, dude.
Dude, the other day I was cracking up with our buddy Omi, who was here, and it's because we pulled up her stream, and so she's in a hot tub, but it's like just like an inflatable pool basically, and she's sitting in a chair in the inflatable pool, not wet at all, like not one bit. She's wearing a bikini and she's playing chess on screen with like this like Botez chick. She's like big in chess, but it was just so funny to me because like she could have just done that in like a regular setup, but like she knows she wouldn't have bagged out. Like she, you know what I'm saying? Like, so she does like she's completely dry in a pool on a chair playing chess, and I was dying, dude. I was like, no. And to Arab's point, she's smart. She's a genius. She's smart.
She is. And like, I love that. Like, I've gotten into it on Twitter with people about this because, like, to me, bathing suits, hot tub streams, whatever, they're women at the beach, dude. It's not a big deal. To me, bathing suits are not a big deal. And, like, women have been sexualized by men, and men have been profiting for it for centuries, dude.
Right.
I like, let the women get the bag, dude.
Bro, the way I see it is...
I fucking love it.
The way I see it is those views aren't affecting your views.
Right.
The people that are complaining are people that, like, don't get me wrong, we all crack jokes about it. I crack jokes about it all the fucking time. Like, yo, look what Twitch is, you know? And the people that are complaining that, like, oh my God.
Ron was getting it yesterday, dude.
Yeah, that was funny.
Dude, he was getting the bag.
The people that are, I love that effect. The people that complain.
It's my trademark.
Are what I noticed. So, like, I had a clip go viral of me a few months ago, like a couple months ago, of me pretending that I hate my viewers and that I'm not thankful. I don't know if you saw it. It got like... I don't think I watched it, but I saw it peripherally. Yeah,
and it was like, dude,
it was like
bullshit.
Clear. It was like, if you knew, like, you could tell it was sarcasm if you were good at sarcasm, but if you weren't good at sarcasm, and everyone that was getting pissed at it were people who get 0 viewers. Which, by the way, we all were there. I don't make fun of people for getting 0 viewers, but like, you look at their feeds. Their feeds are like, their Twitter feed is just a fucking feed of their Twitch link, you know, with hashtags everywhere. There's nothing unique about it. There's nothing unique about it. There's no content. Exactly. And those were the people getting pissed. And all the people that were actually big that were responding were people that were like, fuck, this is good content. And they were people with actual fucking followings, right? These people that are actually making content aren't getting pissed at the fucking titty streamers or whatever, because it's different content. Everyone is horny for at least a fucking hour a day, and they're gonna go watch that or whatever, and you know, maybe it's a gateway into them thinking, okay, I'm gonna go actually watch porn now, or maybe they're enjoying the fucking chatting with people while they see a pair of titties. Or maybe they enjoy the streamer, right? But that's not gonna take away from your fucking gameplay and your comedy content. Like, your people are still gonna fucking watch you when they want to watch you.
For sure.
It's not affecting that.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. And the thing about it is like, when it comes down to it, kids have access to the internet. There's a lot worse than a woman in a fucking inflatable tub, right? Or an inflatable kiddie pool. In a bathing suit. There's a lot more than that on the internet that everybody has access to. Like,
I think a big talking point, like, aside from what I just said, is sometimes the reason, like, what I'll notice is when the bigger streamers get banned, and it's happened to me, is there definitely is a bias though with Twitch towards women, right?
Yeah.
Like Pokimane pulled up a clip on accident of fucking Mini Diva fucking reading causes rough sex, getting railed, absolutely railed, fucking naked, porn star. Great video, by the way. I've watched it multiple times, done the research. Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
All right.
And pull it up on stream in front of fucking 20,000 plus people, right? For 2-3 seconds, pull it off, clearly an accident, doesn't get banned.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because somebody brought you up on my Twitter thread about you getting a temp ban for twerking. And there is a bias with Twitch that leans toward the women, more allowance on women. However, the one thing I want to say about that is do I think it's fair? No. Am I glad it's happening? Yes. And here's why, right? Is because when we look back at the history of men and women, right? Men have had the power. Right. Not too long ago, they were beating women, right? Raping them with impunity.
Dude,
many people still get away with
this. Right.
So the reality is if we take a little bit of a hit and we suffer a little bit of extra consequences that they don't for the next 200 years, I'm okay with that. I like it, dude. I'll take my chances.
You like getting whipped.
Because the reality is I don't think it's fair, but I think, like, if we have to suffer a little bit of injustice and they have to get away with a bunch of shit right now to, like, change the power structure, I'm down with that, man. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that idea.
I'm down with it.
I understand that idea, but the idea for me is that like it doesn't have to be that way. So like for me, what I got banned for was I was watching a documentary about free speech, and it was these comedians. It was these comedians that got sued by a news outlet because they pranked them, right? And this 12-minute Vice documentary, very well done. Well, in one of the documentaries, it showed another documentary, and the dude had a penis statue, and it popped up for 1 second. Beautiful penis statue, by the way. And it popped up for 1 second. I deleted the clips. I deleted the VOD. Somehow, I still got fucking banned for 3 days. And it was 24 hours.
Too,
and it was 24 hours after Pokemon's thing had happened. And I was like, if Twitch is looking at the context, it's clearly accidental. I've done my part to get rid of it. Why why the difference?
And I mean, I think it's like, on the one hand, it is unfortunate that happens, and yet like us getting a taste of what every woman has gotten for their entire life watching dudes get away with shit is not a bad thing for us, right? I think it's more for us to taste that disagreeable thing and feeling like the world is slanted against us. That will, like, I think is really important for that to happen.
I get what you're saying in that aspect. And I don't say it to say they should be banned, right? I say it to say that I shouldn't be.
You shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not it's not like go punish them. It's stop punishing me.
I hear about it. But you probably found a way to spin it though to your advantage,
for
right?
Sure. I'm good at taking bad scenarios and milking them for fucking analytics, you know?
Fucking A, boss.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of the things I've always loved about you though, is you really speak your mind, Arab. And you're a man after my own heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like people that speak their mind.
I appreciate that. Because it's something that's not not a lot of people do it. Well, it's not a lot of people do it.
It's not encouraged these days.
Yeah, it's not encouraged. Exactly.
I know.
It's more encouraged to shut the fuck up and make more money.
Yeah.
With as many brand deals as you can. And then I think that's why a lot of creators get depressed, because they're not them. Right. I think you're old enough where you've dealt with all that shit and you don't give a fuck anymore too. So like, you say whatever the fuck you want. And fuck, there was a point I was gonna make. It was oh, you were saying like dudes get away with a lot of things. I mean, on the contrary, like obviously it is a patriarchal society where it is run by males, and I agree with that. But on the contrary, like there is pretty privilege for women too. Like I'm not saying that women have it easier, but I'm saying like if you're a hot woman, you get away with a lot. You do deal with things like catcalls and shit, obviously, but like there's so many things. Like pretty privilege is real.
Well, it is without a doubt, but it comes with a price tag though, because like a lot of the beautiful women I've known in my life, like we're talking about the stereotypical model beautiful, right? The ones that are just like epic. And the funny thing is they get a lot of the pretty privilege, but then they suffer from going unseen, right? Because a lot of times nobody actually looks into their heart,
right?
And nobody actually believes they're talented or capable.
And that's fair. That's very fair. That's a great point.
And and that kind of shit is really fucking soul crushing. You know what I mean?
They get very disregarded. You know what I'm saying? All they are is a pretty face. And I've actually seen it to where where being pretty works against women when they try speaking intelligently. You know what I'm saying? Because
for sure.
That's a great
they get a lot of hate
That's a very good point.
Because I mean, kids say all the time, like, hey, if women show up and just wear a low-cut shirt, they get popular on Twitch, but they don't realize how much hate the women have to deal with.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The wall of toxicity is fucking gnarly, and like the fortitude it takes. And I mean, maybe I relate to it a lot because me not being a teenage boy, I feel like I get a lot of that fucking hate where it's real nasty personal attacks, They just come after me. God, I do. I mean, I'm a little toxic. I'm not gonna lie. Fucking shitters. Let's go.
Let's go. Fuck nuts.
But I mean, we're all toxic, dude. Come on, fuck nuts.
Yeah, there's that idea too that because you're big, you can't respond to people because you're gonna cause them to get fucking shit talked by so many people. But it's like then don't fucking shit talk me. I've never spoken to you in my life. You don't know who I am. The only reason you hate me is because I'm doing better than you.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's weird, but it's like they find a reason though, man. They find a reason, dude.
Going back to like the whole Twitch thing and like the hot tub streamers and this and that. I think that another reason that Twitch kind of turns a blind eye to it is because I think the user base of Twitch is like 99% male, right? So them being inclusive and allowing females to get away with, you know, a few things here and there. I think that overall they're really trying to grow the user base of Twitch because, dude, like, you know, like dudes come on Twitch, they see a chick, they stay for longer. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. I think that that's also an underlying reason as to why they kind of, you know, let it slide because, dude, like, you know, like a regular kid playing Valorant to 10 viewers doesn't really help Twitch very much. But like if a random chick spawns one day, makes a Twitch channel, gets 2,000 viewers off rip because she's in a jacuzzi, technically it's not against TOS. Like, what are they going to do? You know,
35% of Twitch users are female.
Dude,
how much?
I'm gonna fucking put a hot tub in back, dude. I'm gonna do the real deal, dude. No
That's
kiddie
crazy.
pool. We're gonna have a hot tub, like the real deal here, dude.
Updated January 2021. 35% of Twitch users are female.
Crazy.
Interesting.
That's actually way higher than I would think.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I feel like it's growing though.
It is.
And I mean, it's possible that the support of women is gonna grow the female user base, right? You know, I mean, yeah. I love women though, so you're 100%. Never gonna find me complaining.
100%. Women are fucking beautiful, amazing creatures.
I wonder if they're gonna start banning women for doing the hot tub streams though, because like it's a workaround, right? It's like a creative use of in-game mechanics, if you will. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not totally legit. Like for example, Amaranth like sitting in a hot tub not being wet at all is kind of like a meme, you know? So it's like I wonder if they're ever gonna act upon that because the complaint is actually from a lot of parents because parents see Twitch as a kid-friendly environment for them to watch games to a degree because like the age that you would be able to create a Twitch account is 13, right?
Right.
Well, as far as like the jacuzzi side of Twitch, like that kind of content is stuff you'd see potentially on other websites that parents don't really like. So I really wonder if Twitch is gonna like react to that or address that.
I'm gonna send you guys a tweet actually that I want you guys to look at.
I don't know because I think what the tricky thing is if you really looked into some of the content of the gaming content, the things that people are talking about. And the things that people say while streaming video games and the subjects that come up or the way people act streaming video games, I don't know that it's any less racy than a woman in a bathing suit, right? Yeah. I mean, I think it's just hard. There's just a parochial side to certain aspects of American culture that look at women in bathing suits and depending on the context it's in, it's disturbing, right? Like woman in bathing suit at the beach, the parents take their kids to the beach. They don't put a fucking blinder on their kids so they don't see the women in the bathing suit.
But women in bathing suit outside.
But women's in bathing suits on the internet in a fucking kiddie pool is like all of a sudden, oh my God, now this is dirty. But I think that that's actually a subliminal response to the fact that these parents know their fucking kids are watching porn and they can't fucking stop it. So they want to try and stop the Twitch bathing suit thing because that's where their resentment spills out.
You really
it's contextual.
You really are good at opening people's minds to things. I sent you both a tweet. I sent you both a tweet that I'm gonna pull up right now on the podcast, and I want you guys to look at that. So it says, if I tell you that one is from Chatterbait and the other three are from Twitch, can you tell the difference?
All right.
So pick which one do you think there?
Where's the tweet? I don't see it.
I sent it in your Twitter DMs.
Oh, got you. All right, let me pull up my Twitter DMs. All right.
So look at that tweet.
There we go.
If you look at that.
Right. Well, see, I already know which one is Twitch, right? Because I know it was the band woman, but.
Wait, no. 3 of them are from Twitch. One of them is from a
nice.
Chatterbait.
Oh, okay. Well, so I know one of them is from Twitch. Yeah.
So which one would you think is from Chatterbait?
Right. So I mean, it's like the Chatterbait one. If I had to pick one of these that was from Chatterbait, I would say it was probably top right.
Right. So now if you look at the tweet right under it, it says, I'm joking, they're all from Twitch.
They're all from Twitch.
They're all from Twitch.
Well, I have to be honest, I don't know what Chatterbait is. I'd never heard of Chatterbait.
It's a campsite, like, you know.
Oh,
like,
I got you, a campsite. Well, see, the funny thing is, though, is I mean, without going into it too much, I personally believe, and this is how I raised my son who's 16, by having very honest talks with him when he was younger about like sexuality and pornography, and like I kind of explaining to him about how pornography is like the Transformers. It is, you know, obviously in Transformers we see these robots doing these things, but we know it's not real. There aren't real Transformers outside, right? But it's creating an energy that we respond to, right? And pornography is like hyper, like an energy around this natural instinct that we all have that we don't need to be ashamed about. And it's totally okay to have this instinct, but you got to realize that they're transformerizing this instinct to try and make money off of us, right? And but for me, I think the healthiest relationship with sexuality is when we get rid of the shame. Right? Like the idea of like, that's the thing that's so hard about it is even if you look at some of the people over my lifetime, there have been political leaders who have tried to like squash sexuality. And oftentimes those people have the biggest fucking toxicity in their closets. Because they're responding from shame. And I'm just not ashamed of sexuality or my relationship with it, nor will I ever be. And I'm trying to raise my kid to be that way too, but it's hard though, because there's a part of American culture that is like about shame, you know? Like, everything's about shame. How could you have done that, you know?
And also, I would like to say that that's not entirely fair, because some porn does happen. Like for example, the other day I got stuck in our washing machine,
and I helped him out.
And Arab helped me out. He railed my shit in. You know what I'm saying? So like,
dude, it's so funny, dude. I use that sometimes whenever I get stuck in Fortnite. I always say stuck like step bro. And everybody's like in the comments is like, don't you mean step sis? I'm like, the kids freak out about it. But step bro is the tagline,
bro. Let me tell you a funny story about like the way you don't parent, right? So I have a nephew. He's like 15 now, and I gave him a sick laptop, bro. It was like it's an MSI. It can run any game, like VR, etc. Nice. It's a nice laptop, right? So I gave it to him when he was like 13, 14, right? And so he's had like 3 years to learn how to use a computer, right? And his dad is real caveman, like, right? He just doesn't get it. And so his dad doesn't let him use the computer, and you know, I was like, I was like, dude, I gave him, because his dad calls me all the time. He calls me for like IT help, like fucking computer help and this and that. And I'm like, dude, why are you calling me? I was like, you have a son that I gave a computer to 3 years ago that should know how to do all this. Why does he not know how to do anything on a computer? And his response was, well, every time we let him use the computer, he would just play video games and watch porn. And I was like, he's a fucking 14, 15-year-old kid, dude. But like, maybe talk to him about it. You know what I'm saying?
Because now that's like pretty natural for everybody to be fucking exploring that stuff. I agree with you 100%. I mean, I'd rather, like what I told my kid when I was talking to him about this book, because I talked to him before middle school, is my thing was just, I don't want him learning about these things from a bunch of other 12-year-olds.
Whoa, I cut out. Well, if you listen to the
side of it,
I'm back.
That actually knows some shit about it.
I cut out at 12-year-olds, and everyone listening to the podcast also cut out with it because I'm the one recording. So go back. Learning about from a bunch of 12-year-olds.
So what I was saying is I started talking about some of those adult topics about like sexuality and media manipulation and things like that with my son before he got into middle school.
Right, like how the media tries to portray something.
Because when he got into middle school and he has a cell phone, he's around other kids, I know what they're going to be looking at.
And you have to,
I know what they're going to be talking about. And I just wanted him to know about, like, I wanted him to hear about that stuff from somebody who really knew about the big picture, as opposed to him going to middle school and only learning about it from other 12-year-olds.
Right.
Who don't really like, because the problem is with the internet, kids are getting exposed to a bunch of shit, man. And there's really nothing you can't find, you know. But
and that curiosity is what drives them down those darker paths, right?
It
They're like,
does.
okay, let's try this, and all of
and
a
like
sudden,
for me, I've just tried to have a relationship with my son where when he sees gnarly shit, he can come to me and we can talk about it. Because there's nothing he can bring before me that I'm gonna judge him for. You know what I mean? There's nothing, bro. You know, like, I mean, God, I'm as big a fuck up as there is, dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I am, dude.
I just don't
fuck up.
I don't believe in like as far as like parenting goes. I actually think that the way you're parenting is so much more positive than the way, for example, my nephew's dad parents him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he's like repressing him from things that he's going to inevitably find out about himself, and he won't have a conversation to refer back to that he had with somebody that cares about him, that he looks up to. He's just gonna have to figure it out himself, right?
Yeah, that's really tough.
And like, you know, like I have really ethnic parents. Like, you know, I'm first generation here. Like, I moved here when I was 6. We're from like Central America, and my parents never really gave me the talk. They never really talked to me about many things because they didn't have very much context, at least in this culture and whatnot. So I kind of had to figure it out myself, and I'm lucky that the avenues that I went down, they didn't, you know, lead me too far off the, you know, the road or whatever. But like I said, dude, the fact that you have such an open line of communication with your kid, and he can come back to you and talk to you about anything is so huge, man. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I try.
Yeah, and I feel like it's even cooler that, like, you know, like you like said that your dad wasn't really there for you, like, so now you make such an extra effort to be there for him. Like, that's awesome, man. It's cool.
I do. I mean, because I kind of grew up with the dad who was like, he was like a dictator, and he ruled with fear and violence, and like, we were sort of taught that like kids don't know shit and the adults know everything. But yet I watched my dad and could clearly see that he had no fucking clue what he was doing. Dude, he was like struggling his entire life, making the same mistake over and over and over again. But yet he was trying to tell me that I didn't know shit. And like I kind of like feel like parenting, like, I don't feel like my kid is my property, man. I feel like I am as lucky to know him as he is to have me. And I feel like in some ways I may have even learned more from him than he's learned from me, right?
Do you
because
feel like,
I don't have all the answers.
Do you feel like you take stuff that you learned from talking to him and put it into your stream so that you can entertain, you know, the younger audience?
I mean, I like, not necessarily directly, right? But I do run stuff by him sometimes. The main thing that I get from him that I think helps me in the streams is that I fucking respect the hell out of him as a human being, and I allow him to like influence me, right? I allow him to teach me, and to like I don't feel like I'm better than him at all. I feel like in some ways like I can learn from his enthusiasm, and I connect to his like struggles, right? And I think in doing that, it maybe makes my ability to relate to a bunch of teenagers, like, I have a better ability to relate to them because I haven't forgotten what they go through.
Right.
Because the teenage years are hard, man.
Hard, for sure.
You're going chemically, you're bombarded with all this stimulus, and everyone around you is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why aren't you performing well enough? And it's like, dude, and you just want to tell all the adults to shut the fuck up.
And you're supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at 18.
Nobody knows.
How whack
when
is
I was
that?
14, I just wanted to find a place to sit at in the fucking lunchroom where people wouldn't make fun of my fucking teeth. You know what I mean? I had no idea what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
Do you have bad teeth? You look like you have nice teeth.
Dude, no, they're all right now, but they used to be really discolored, man.
Right.
I like when I was a little kid, I had white teeth, but then I had croup, and so I had to take a lot of liquid tetracycline. And what I didn't know at the time is the U.S. government knew that liquid tetracycline stained kids' teeth, but they let doctors prescribe it to kids fucking all the time. And then when my teeth came in, they were like super dark, dude. And then like, so kids used to make fun of my teeth, dude. They used to terrorize me for it.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, dude. And you know, I bleached them as an adult and stuff, and now they're all right. But like, man, when I was a kid, dude, it was just one of the many things. Like, I got picked on a lot, you know?
Yeah.
You know, But I'm a survivor. I'm crafty.
Good for you. Seriously, good for you.
Because I'm a survivor. Dude,
I am, man. I think it, dude.
Dude, I think getting picked on is also a very important part of like life. I think that, you know, like with the whole like pretty privilege thing, like, you know, I think that, you know, sometimes you talk about like people that are like really good looking, they like lack personality because they never really had to survive. You know what I'm saying? And like, so like, I think that that's also a really important part of like your childhood. Obviously, I'm not saying like get fucking picked on, like it sucks or whatever, but I think
it matters.
But I think if you get picked on and you deal with it in a good way, productively, like in your own head, like this and that, like I think it actually makes you a better person. I think it helps build your you know, it helps thicken your skin. Like fuck, dude, you know.
It can become a superpower. I mean, I kind of went the wrong way for a while with like the drinking and the drugs and stuff because I was in a lot of pain, man. Like my childhood was tough, bro.
Right.
But it also, though, I have certain superpowers because of it. You know, I mean, and that's one of the things that I think is really important, like, because you don't necessarily need a hard life, right? I wish a hard life on no one, but depending on your sensitivity and what you go through, like the shit I went through with my dad, there could be a kid who has maybe really wealthy parents and he's totally taken care of, but his dad's working all the time and he feels abandoned by his dad and he feels like his dad doesn't love him. And like that struggle is very real to that kid, right?
Dude.
And I think the way I look at it is just every struggle we face is a superpower. It doesn't have to be an obstacle. If you decide to acknowledge it and acknowledge the pain it's causing you and allow yourself to feel that pain and like work through it, it can become a superpower, man. Just don't ignore it.
There was this kid in my chat and he was my biggest gifter, my biggest, you know, like donator, whatever. And I found out after a while that he was really young. He was like 14. And I was like, how the fuck can you manage this? Like, how is that even possible? How do your parents not kick your ass? Because he was like giving me thousands of dollars, right? And I later find out that his dad is like an extremely just out of pocket successful man, like just like in the craziest way, right? Like he's just super successful. But this kid, he never got a lot of attention from his family. That's why he was in my chat all the time. And he was also the type of kid that, like, I guess in his life, money just made it so you got whatever you wanted. Like money got you whatever. But like in my chat, like in my community, that's how I roll. Like you can like gift me like $1 million, but like if you're gonna be a dickhead to the kid that's never gifted me $1, you know, like I'm gonna have to say something to you, right? So as my community grew and he got less attention from me specifically, he started not liking it and he started attacking other people that were getting attention, this and that. He started cheating. He started like doing, you know, like, because we do like little community things. He started acting out. And so I had to like, you know, like kind of father him in a way that he had never been fathered before. And after it got bad enough, he didn't like it. He just never had anyone like, you know, put him in his place like that because his parents just disregard him. They literally give him an iPad, an iPhone, and a fucking computer and tell him to fuck off, right? And so with me trying to be that role model for him, I think he appreciated it for a while, but then I think that there was like a time where he just couldn't take it anymore. It was the cheating, dude. He used to cheat in like little community games that we'd have, and like everyone in chat would call him out. I called him out, this and that, and it was it. Like he left my community. I haven't seen him in a while, but that's definitely due to the fact that he didn't really have a father figure, and when somebody tried being that role model for him and checking him and being like, yo, this is not okay. This is not how you talk to people. This is like, money does not get you this or that, right? It just didn't register with him, and I haven't seen him since, and I hope he's fine. But like, that's the other thing, dude, where like, it doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you're on. You could be like super poor, super rich, but if you don't have somebody to check you, to raise you, to be that figure for you, bro, like you're gonna be some sort of messed up, you know, like to a degree.
For sure, man. Crazy out there, boss.
Yeah, I've had similar scenarios with people like that as well. Where like I checked them in their place, they hated me, but then they came back months later and fucking thanked me for it.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about streaming is that happens a lot.
Yeah,
like,
it does happen a lot.
Pay money, then thinking they're gonna get some extra privilege to kind of be a douchebag.
Nope.
I mean, yeah. It's really, I'm not a big fan of that.
And really, all of us don't really care about the money. We just want to, you know, we want to make good enough livings, and the thing we're out here for is to entertain people. You know,
sure,
like that's what we have in our fucking bones is the entertainment aspect.
100%, and build a community. And I mean, I really love being part of the video game community too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel really connected to it. And it's weird. Like when I was a filmmaker, I knew everybody and I was in the community, but I didn't feel that same connection. Like with the video game guys, I just feel like I found my tribe.
Right.
You know?
It's more friendly because it's younger too.
Yeah.
You know, there's no, I mean, there's obviously like people being weird and there's a lot of kids that are super hateful in there, but like.
For sure.
Like when you're, because this is the first community that I've actually been able to like be a part of and a face in. You know, like I used to be in the commentary community and people knew who I was, but I wasn't like a face in it. And it's cool. It's cool that like people can look up to you, and all these people that, you know, have massive followings. You don't even look at them like they're just humans.
Yeah,
know?
for
It's
sure.
not-
Man.
yeah, it's just people that you can ask advice on whatever part they're successful in, and you know, you guys bounce off each other, etc. But going back to the point like that you couldn't talk to your dad, etc., and that's why you let your son be able to talk to you. Yeah, I get that too, because like whenever I fucked up, well, first of all, my brother was the one that would bully me growing up verbally, my older brother, and he's the reason I built this ability to, you know, respond to people and be sarcastic and one up everyone who would talk shit to me, because there was that defense mechanism. But also whenever I fucked up, I could tell my brother because he fucked up before me, you know, and he was like the mentor, like, yo, what do I do here, you know, etc.
Right.
So
He fucked up before me.
Yeah, he's kind of blazing the trail.
Exactly. So my older brother was that person. I'm sure it would have been much different if he wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was the youngest of 7 kids, so I'd seen a lot of wreckage.
Whoa.
And it was weird too, because they were all from my mom's previous marriage. So I grew up in that weird dynamic of like, mom had 6 kids, mom and dad had 1 kid.
You were okay.
I was the only kid, so like my dad kind of favored me, which sort of made the other 6 kids kind of not like me. So a lot of times I was getting used by them to get closer to dad. Like it was a lot to navigate, man.
So were you not close with any of them?
Not really. I mean, I still am sort of close to my brothers and sisters. I still talk to my mom, right? Like my mom, she's dying right now. She's in hospice for lung cancer. And yeah, it's rough, but like it's hard because we're not that close, you know what I mean? But I still talk to her, right? But what? Oh, okay. Come here. Dude, my kid, he's going. Come in here and give me a hug, dude. This is Bryce. You're gonna see Bryce real quick. He's going to his mom's house right now. Let's go, dude. There he is.
Bryce.
Let's go. All right, that's Bryce.
You got
dude.
that Edwin hair.
He does have Edwin hair, dude. You have hair like one of the hosts, dude. You do, yeah.
My man.
It's a podcast, Arab's podcast. All right, Arab and Edwin. All right, I will see you Sunday, boss. Okay, so that's Bryce, dude.
Hell yeah.
But so what I was saying is my mom and I still talk. I still talk to a couple of my siblings, right? A little bit, but I kind of like, there's a lot of toxicity in the family of a lot of like trauma. You know, there was a lot of sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, alcoholism, right? I'm sober coming up on 14 years.
Good for you.
In June, right?
You don't drink at all.
I don't. No drinking, no drugs. And I've even given up caffeine for 8 of those 14. I'm on no drugs.
I'm not gonna lie, Tommy. I thought you're fucking snorting blow before every stream or some shit. Your energy is
natural,
Your
bro.
energy is another level.
This is natural. So because the toxicity and some of the toxic patterns are still in play, because a lot of my family never really got good therapy. They haven't like gotten out of the rut. I've had to deal with them to where I stay in touch with them a little bit, but I have to sort of keep them.
You don't participate in the.
They're outside the bubble, right?
Exactly.
Because the people in the bubble are people who I can actually have those real connected relationships with. People who are aware of their damage, right?
Right.
You know. And some of them just aren't. And my dad don't talk to me anymore because I fired him actually.
Right.
Like, I mean, you know, the man was toxic. I chased his approval for fucking 20 years.
That's what a lot of us do.
And then finally, when I got sober, I realized, oh my God, he's just a toxic guy. And then I had discovered some sexual abuse I had experienced in therapy. I came out about it with the family, and my dad accused me of making it up. But this is a man who had perpetrated some sexual abuse way back when. And I finally called him out on it and I fired him. I called him and said, "You're fired as my dad. Like, I no longer need you as my dad. You're just release of liability. You do what you want, but you're not my dad anymore."
I have a question, and it's going to be a pretty deep question here that a lot of people are gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck? But so you said you experienced sexual abuse from your dad, but you realized it was sexual abuse later.
Yeah.
Right.
So no, it wasn't from my dad.
Okay.
My dad had sexually abused like my sisters. This was something that was like a hidden family secret that was not talked about.
Right.
Very little. But my sexual abuse came at the hands of a couple of my brothers.
Okay.
And I didn't really know about it. Like what happened was,
it wasn't just brothers being brothers.
So, well, no, it was sort of like I didn't know about it. I had relationships with these two brothers later on as adults that didn't make sense. One of the brothers was actually ended up going to jail for like some sex crimes, right? And like, again, they're like half brothers. But so what happened with me is when I got sober, I took this acting class, right? As a director, I took an acting class. The acting teacher became a friend of mine, and she was like, you know, you have this innate ability to like find other people's weak spots, but nobody can find yours. And I think there might be some trauma in your life, is what she told me. And I think you'll be a better actor if you try this type of therapy. So I went and did EMDR. And EMDR is a type of talk therapy that uses like eye motions while you do it. And what it does is it stimulates both sides of the brain during talk therapy to allow repressed stuff to come up. And they invented this therapy to deal with veterans who had suffered PTSD and they had buried it. Their minds had just buried the traumatic events in war. And so I went and did EMDR. And what EMDR allowed me to do was it allowed me to find the sexual abuse. Right? You don't really remember it. I kind of remembered moments. What I remembered, I went back and re-experienced like sensations, smells, and things I heard, and the wool blanket feeling over my body. I went back and experienced the sensations I experienced while I was sexually abused. And through EMDR, I was able to unlock the pain that I had repressed of those events. And it's like metaphorically what it is when you're traumatized as a kid. For me, it was young. It was grade school, right? And when you're traumatized as a kid, it's like somebody takes a watermelon of pain and they smash it against your brain and it fractures and the pieces of watermelon fuse into your brain. They fuse into who you are, the decisions you make. And now you're making decisions based on those pieces of watermelon and you don't know why you're making those decisions, which led me to like drug abuse, bad relationships.
So it did lead you to those things, and you blame those on that.
It did lead me to those things. Well, it's not about blaming those. It's about like I was going through life with these repressed, painful experiences that I was running from, and I didn't even know what I was running from. And I was covering up the pain.
Right.
I was just trying to avoid the pain by having a good time and by having all these different sexual relationships with women. But there were patterns.
So after that therapy, you had stopped doing all that?
So then what happened is that therapy, you go back through your brain and you start picking off the pieces of the watermelon from those traumatic events and you put it back on the watermelon. And so what it was is the simplest way I can describe it is when we're traumatized, and this isn't just the big things like sexual abuse. It's like when you're hit by your parents, when you witness a really gruesome fight, or you get into a car accident, or whenever traumatic things happen to you, the bully picks on you. We store those things on a cellular level. In addition to the mental stuff, that the abuse and trauma gets into our cells as human beings, right? We store it in our body physically. And it can be pains that we don't know about. It could be like a backache that shows up every now and then. Now, if you look at animals like deer, after they get traumatized, they like shake themselves and release the trauma. We humans don't. And so I went back and did EMDR, and it allowed me to remove the trauma of the sexual abuse, of the kids who picked on me for my teeth, of my dad being physical, like all kinds of shit. And you go back and you re-experience the pain, you cry, you howl, right? Like it was really transformational. And I did the EMDR for like a year and a half with my therapist. She actually looks like the siren skin in Fortnite. The siren skin, Benji Fishy skin, looks just like the therapist who took me through that work. But it was profoundly transformational and allowed me to take like I went back and just took a whole bunch of abuse and I got it out of my physical body, right?
So my question is like, obviously people deal with trauma differently, right?
They do, yeah.
And take this as a question from curiosity, because it's not, you know, people don't like to ask the hard questions because it's taboo and people will be like, oh my God, how dare he? So I was watching this. I used to watch a show with my ex called Sex Education, right. and in the show, this chick who's like really innocent, whatever. She's going down the bus to school and some dude jerks off on her. Clearly sexual abuse, right? She's like unhinged by it. In her mind, it's like, okay, fuck, he just did that on my jeans. Like now I need new jeans, right? Right. But she goes to school, whatever, doesn't talk about it. Anyways, then her friend finds out and like she tells her and like she forces this idea into her head that she was abused and that she should be hurt by it. Right? She wasn't hurt by it, but that she should be hurt by it. And that triggered this thing in her head that like, fuck. And now it like cycled her back and it absolutely destroyed her personality. And like, you know, it took her down this path of depression because she knows she was sexually abused. So like obviously the sexual abuse was bad, but she wasn't affected by it like other people would. And her friend basically forced that idea on her that you should be. Yeah. And is there any of that there, or do you
see the thing that's really hard about it is like I guess the thing that's hard about it is that is all I think an attempt to intellectualize things, right? There is some idea like where people think things can be. Hold on, I got to give my son something that he needs. He's getting his vaccine today. He needs his insurance card. There you go. All right.
Nice. 5G.
Right.
Good shit.
So yeah. So the thing about that is I think some of that, right? Like I don't personally believe, like, sure, there's a thing such as brainwashing, right? For sure. Like ideas I think can be implanted in people's heads, right? I mean, that's how advertising works. Right. Advertising works by implantation. And as a whole, like maybe there are instances where people get false ideas about things, right? But I guess like I don't really like for me, I looked back at my life and I looked back at the way like you see patterns of like relationships. Like what I would look more about with the girl in that situation, right? Is not about what the friend said to her or how she feels, but like, you know, you can look at it as like, well, whether if she was traumatized by it, right? If she felt on some level that was fucking bothersome to her, like it will come out, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think fake things can actually stay long term.
Well, like yours didn't come out until someone told you to go do this therapy.
Well, no, I mean, mine came out. If I looked back at like my relationships with women, I protected myself in certain ways. Okay, right. And I chose certain type of women. I chose certain type of like sexual relationships, right? I was really numbing pain with a lot of chemicals. I was very promiscuous in ways, while at the same time, like one of the brothers who abused me, like gave me a car, right? Another brother who abused me, I had this childhood memory of way back when one day my dad was beating him and I jumped on my dad and tried to protect my dad from beating that brother when I was like 7 years old, which is like, I was not a fighter, right? But I jumped on my dad's back and was preventing my dad from hurting that brother, which when you look back at that memory, that is a classic response to abuse. For you to protect your abuser, to try and like, you want to take care of your abuser because you're hoping if you do, maybe they will not abuse you as much, right? So there were a lot of like, like there were a lot of little signs back there, you know what I'm saying, along the way of like things that I didn't really notice. And what really was the first trigger for me was not this therapist or the acting coach, but what happened was one of those brothers who abused me had been in the military, and he had a schizophrenic episode at 35 out of the blue, right? Never had a previous history of schizophrenia, right? Just had a schizophrenic episode, got released from the Navy, went back to live with his mom, right? We share moms, right? Different dad. But he went back to live with his mom. And then he went on and off his medication. And one night my mom called me. She was freaking out about him, and she had said he had had a schizophrenic episode, and he had said to her, she said, yeah, he's freaking out right now. We had to take him to the hospital. He was insisting that they had written on his car that he was a child molester, right? Oof. And the minute she said that to me, I got a feeling, like, I can't explain it was what it was, but the minute she said that he was seeing that the voices were telling him that, I had this feeling that was like, you know, I just got like
goosebumps,
right now. And then I was flooded with like memories from when I was a kid and images and pictures and unrelated scenes, right? And that was like the first trigger, right? And that happened a good 6 years before I met that acting coach.
Is it a traumatic experience to you?
Is what?
Was it that abuse? You know, was it before the therapy? Is it still? Because I mean, you're talking about it like, you know, like normal Tommy does.
Right. Well, and I've done years of therapy around it, and so the thing that's really interesting when you talked about the girl who, like, you know, the guy jerked off and she was like, oh, I just need to get a new pair of jeans, and she's unaffected by it. Like, I personally don't believe human beings are unaffected by things. I don't think we're unaffected by anything. And I think our natural response is to be unaffected, because that's like part of American culture. Like, you got to fucking pull up those bootstraps. Like, we got to be strong. We got to make it through this, right? And I mean, I think some of this trauma discussion is even larger than us. Like a classic example is like police, right? They're doing studies right now on police.
Most of them are bullies or something.
They're discovering necessarily that they think people who have stored a lot of body trauma from their youth go into the police force, because that is a place where they are fucking so resistant to acknowledging trauma. And then they go out there and they experience a lot of trauma. Like, being a police officer is traumatizing to the cops, right?
100%.
And so they end up like these guys that have a lot of trauma in their bodies go get jobs where they get a lot of trauma put into their bodies, and it creates a powder keg of fucking violent response, right? Like when I even look at my dad, like the reason why my dad was so volatile and so chaotic and did so much abuse to the people around him is because he had so much trauma in his body that he just never fucking got help for, man. He never acknowledged it, you know? And like it, I mean, this is just a really big, deep discussion, because at the end of the day, though, like we human beings, we're animals, right? And they've studied this in animals, how animals respond to trauma. Like I talked about the deer. When the deer gets really scared in a life-threatening situation.
Fucking cut out again? What is this internet? It just cuts out for like 10 seconds. Okay, wait, go back. When a deer is in a life-threatening situation, the internet cuts out for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's okay. So the thing is what I was saying is, at our base level, human beings, we are animals. Right? We're mammals. Right. We're highly evolved.
We're primal as well. 100%.
We're socialized, right? But so other animals, like if you look at it, a deer, when a deer's out there, the deer's sitting there, I'm eating grass, I'm hanging out, I'm loving my life. A fucking bear takes a swipe at the deer almost dies, it runs. It escapes, right? Now, the deer has a process where it like shakes its whole body to release that trauma from its cells so it can go back to the meadow and just eat the fucking grass innocently, right? Human beings, though, we don't necessarily release our trauma. We become jaded.
But is the reason we do that because of all these studies on it, and because we've analyzed, so like deer haven't deeply analyzed the brain and you know, created technology. But the reason humans, we have analyzed all that and we think about it way more than maybe sometimes we need to, right? Because the deer right after goes, all right, fuck this, I'm done with it, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
but I guess my point is because we have this higher mind, I think we're missing some of the primitive skills, right?
Right.
So we have to discover the way to release this stuff. But it's hard though, because we do live in a society where, like, at least when I was a kid, therapy was looked down upon. Nobody went to therapy because the idea was if you went to therapy, you're weak, you're broken, crazy. Right? Yeah. You're crazy. When in reality, like, I believe that life is just brutalizing. Life is brutalizing. Go to the beach, look at a seagull. They're missing an eye, their fucking leg is crooked. Really? They look like somebody took a fucking bat to it. And human beings are no different, dude. Like, my life, I have been through some ass kickings like you wouldn't imagine. And like I feel like part of like growing and staying compassionate and staying unjaded and not getting angry and resentful and bitter, for me, has been directly tied to getting therapy, to acknowledging my trauma and my hurts, my vulnerabilities, and cleaning some of that up, right? And you know, because like some kids have said to me, like, how can I be like you? How can I get that passion? And you know, the only thing I've really done in my life that I think is differently than a lot of the adults I know is, no matter how many times I've gotten my heart broken, no matter what kind of trauma I've suffered, I've felt the pain and gone in and tried to heal it and not avoid it. And I've allowed my heart to get broken again. Like, I approach every new thing with the excitement and the curiosity and the hopefulness that if it fails, I'm going to be devastated. And I'm going to be heartbroken and I'm going to cry and I'm going to be in pain. And maybe I'll, you know, like after I didn't make the Phase 5 Top 20, I didn't make any content for a month, dude. No YouTube. I was heartbroken.
I think if I think especially if they look back at you right now and they see that, they'd pick you. You'd be in their top 5.
But the funny thing is like I believe in healing, right? I believe in like allowing myself to be wounded and acknowledging it and not pretending like I'm not hurt, and then healing, you know? And I think now I feel like I have so much hope for the world now, because when I was a kid, nobody believed in healing, man. You were either on the side with power or you weren't. You know what I'm saying? And like now it's kind of changing.
I think that, like, especially from like an ethnic family standpoint, like, because like, you know, like my dad, Arab's dad, like our parents, our families, they come from a culture where like weakness is very frowned upon. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, like if I ever cried, my dad told me to suck it the fuck up, you know, like show your strengths, hide your weaknesses was always like a thing in my life and my family. But I have to agree, dude, like I think that and so there's two sides to this coin, because Arab mentioned, you know, the chick that got, you know, nutted on and she's like, oh, I'm gonna go change my pants or whatever, right? So the thing about that is I feel like there's two sides to that, where like she could have actually experienced trauma where it was subliminal and she didn't understand it until somebody like, you know, like somebody changed her perspective about it.
For sure.
But so the way it would go is like if her perspective was never changed, or if it was never made apparent that she experienced that trauma, she might have made some decisions in her life as a result of it that she would have not made otherwise, right? But but to Arab's point, I think that people take that length of time where they experience the trauma and then they realize it. In today's social media age or whatever, they take scenarios that happened to them that were completely consensual and completely like okay at the time, and then they use the time in between and the climate of the culture against the person, let's say 5 years later, because they're somebody now.
I wasn't even talking about that, but that is a great point.
Well, yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of like slippery slopes with that stuff for sure. And there's probably some people who have invented trauma that never actually happened, you know what I mean? But I think though, ultimately, like, you know, when you think about it, it's like, I would rather have people be investing in healing and looking within themselves and maybe we encounter some fucking false positives along the way.
Yeah.
Then having millions of people hurting and just turning out to be bitter, angry fucking haters because they can't acknowledge it.
So I
see
like
what I
don't
did there. I'm just kidding.
I don't like talk about like the use of marijuana or any of that like to my stream or whatever, because what I always tell them if they ask me, I'm like, yo, like I don't want to influence anyone that may be influenced by me, so I'll never answer whether I do or I don't. But like, because we're on a podcast, we're like fucking basically an hour and a half in, like I'll talk about it. So like I obviously, I do smoke sometimes, but like back, dude, I don't know what happened. Like it was like I started, and then like I would get to a point where I would get to a certain level of under said influence where I would like start having really negative thoughts, like really, really negative thoughts, like anxiety inducing thoughts. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is not cool. Like I wouldn't like it. And then I'd like go to bed. I'd wake up the next morning. I'd be fine. Everything's fine. Like I'm me again. Like everything's cool. But I was like, what the fuck is causing that? And so I did it again. And same thing. I would be like real self-hating. Like, what are you doing? Like you have long hair. Like what the fuck is like, what are you building? Like you're getting older, like this and that. And then obviously I'd go to bed and I'd be like, okay, what the fuck was that again? So what I would do is before I would indulge, I would get into the mindset of, okay, there is a demon here and I'm going to face it right now. And I would do it, and I would get to that state of mind, and I would try really hard to like, keep in touch with like, my sober mindset, if that makes sense. Right. And I would have to face these things. I would like talk to myself. I would like, I would do it by myself too. I would like just be in my room by myself, and I would just have to like go through it or whatever. Cause I never signed up for therapy. I never did any of that, but I had a friend that did. And he like would give me like these little like word associations that his therapist gave him, and they helped me a lot too.
Nice.
And so I actually really, really believe in as far as like the long-term traumatic effects of like things that happened to you a long time ago, and like somebody changes your perspective or like, like makes you realize that trauma. I haven't really experienced that. I definitely do see how that would like, I just really believe in what you're saying. I believe in like the healing. I believe in like, like things happen to you where you don't even realize that they were traumatic until like a long time ago, like, or like, a while later. Like for sure. I definitely believe in that. And I think that the whole masculinity, like the whole, like, where I'm from, call it machismo. Like it's like right. the males can't cry. They can't show emotion. I think that that's actually very unproductive. And I think that definitely, it blocks your ability to grow as a person,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tommy.
No, I was just,
hold on. I got to respond to this email.
Damn, businessman. All right.
Yeah,
email. You can tell he's 50 fucking one.
But you are fucking, I mean, you really hit a nail on the head though, dude, that like everything you just said is really accurate. And I think you brought up a genius point, Edwin, in that what you were talking about when you were talking about your weed experience is you went into it with awareness. Right?
Yeah,
and
I knew.
One of the biggest things that changed me, in addition to that therapy, but maybe even more so than that therapy, was getting into meditation, right? And I went on a Vipassana meditation retreat, like, I don't know, 2010.
Was it a silent retreat?
2010 it was, yeah. 7 days. Or 10 days. 10 days. No talking.
You
no
stayed
eye
silent
contact.
for 10 days, my ass.
Meditating 14 hours a day, but it was life-changing because what it really taught me was how to live in the present moment, how to have awareness of what the present moment is. Because we as human beings in our culture, fast track in the culture, we're all ambitious, we're trying to get somewhere. We're either running from things we wish we hadn't said, wish we hadn't did, or why did I do that, or should I have done something different? Or we're future tripping about the things we need to do, and is this the right decision? But what we're not doing is we're not being aware of how we're feeling and what's happening to us right fucking now.
Yep.
And like, I learned through meditation and shit, I learned how to live in the now, dude. Like right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like right in this moment, dude. I got goosebumps right now just from listening to Edwin talk about fucking his shit, dude. I got goosebumps knowing that right now, the three of us with this podcast, we're fucking changing the world.
Yeah.
Right now. You know what I mean? And we're like three guys from, I bet, very disparate backgrounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we're all here fucking together, dude. And like that shit was just really gold for me, I think. It's like that awareness.
Right. There's a point that Edwin brought up about like, you know, like old girlfriends, whatever, etc. Well, there's a mentality that a lot of people, like, once they break up with their ex or whatever it is, they look at it and they regret it. You know, they regret those. I don't think I've ever looked at, you know, on my relationships, I never look back and go, fuck, I regret those 2 years or whatever. I always go, okay, those were good experiences. Like whether there were bad ones or whatnot in there, I still learn from them and it's part of my life. And if I sit here and regret it, it's just going to make me dwell on it. It's like, let me focus on the present, etc.
Absolutely.
We do have to wrap this up here shortly. So
I know I got DreamHack.
You have DreamHack too, exactly. I had one last question before we ask you the Branders question, and that question is, do you have any animosity towards the abusers?
I like right now, no, I do not. But I did. I like, so what it was, I'll be short about it too, is because a lot of it was stuffed, like it was so traumatic that I had to stuff it to just survive. Like it never even happened, right? And then what ended up happening is the animosity I had toward the abusers, I turned inward. It was self-hatred, man. When the bullies picked on me, when my dad bullied me, I believed what they said. And I fucking like hated myself, right? And then I went into this career of music though, which really saved me because I had an outlet. I had an outlet for that self-hatred, right? To sort of process it through metaphor and song. And then what ended up happening is what I discovered is even the hatred and anger I had toward the abusers, what it really was is it was really sadness for like the little kid in me that had to go through that. Yeah. Right. So because those guys, like, they weren't trying to hurt me. They were trying to love me in a demented way because they were abused too. Right.
So
and
it's
in
more
reality,
of an understanding manner.
And in reality, it was like their love of me probably helped me survive some other abuse that I went through, right? Which is really sick and fucking twisted. But I did confront them both. And I confronted the one in prison. I wrote him a letter and he fucking reacted poorly. And then I fucking like I confronted on him and then cut off all contact. And then with the other brother, I called him up and I talked to him and I called him out on it. And it was weird because even though he denied it, the tone in his voice, he denied it, but like all the power in our, like everything just made sense, dude. Like I was released when I confronted him. But no, I don't have any animosity. I've let it go, man. I've moved on. I got bigger and better things, boss. I ain't no victim.
If that didn't happen, do you think
I was a victim, but
and if that didn't happen, do you think you'd be where you are today? Because you said it led you into rock, it led you into that.
Well, yeah, see, that's just the thing. Like if I had gotten therapy when I was 10 years old and had parents like me who had discovered shit and they had fucking gotten me to a therapist, would I be here? No, I'd be somewhere else, right? But if it had never happened, I'd be somewhere else.
For sure.
But I think, like, without a doubt, the survival of the abuse and the later the self-abuse perpetuated on me by living a wild fucking drive-through red lights fucking lifestyle, it got me to where I am today. Do I have any regrets? Fuck no, boss. No regrets.
And the key point there isn't, it's obviously not like abuse is good, but it's the idea that, you know, Tommy just said, I'm not a victim.
Yeah, I'm a survivor.
Yeah, you need to, whatever your circumstances are, you have to find the positive in them. You have to figure out how to make it past them. Because you either dwell on them and it eats you up and it destroys your life, or you figure out how to fucking continue on and be a survivor, like you said, right? And survivor and victim, they're very close. They're very close in experience. It's just that you choose to figure it out as you go, and it's a, you know, it's a mentality that's really important because you only have one life.
You do. And I think the survivor victim thing is I think they're both, because I am a survivor, but I have a victim in me. But the thing is the victim in me is not driving the car. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's there, but it's more like the survivor in me needs to see the victim and sometimes reassure the victim that everything's okay. But the victim ain't making the decisions, right? Because that's when you live reactively and you start causing other harm.
I think that the sum of your character is the decisions you make when you face adversity. I think that is like who ends up, like that's who you end up becoming. And
dude,
also,
you just made me tingle, Edwin. That was like, dude, like Edwin's a fucking smart guy over here, dude.
And the other thing I want to say about like the deer, like, because we talked about how like the deer reacts, like, it has like a natural reaction, but like humans don't. We kind of just like, we like suppress it or whatever. Right. I think the deer just does what it needs to do because it's primal. It doesn't have the self-awareness that we have. Therefore, it just reacts in the way it does and it goes about its day. And the reason that we get nutted on and fucking just we're like whatever is because we have this thing where society has built a thing around everyone where like you're not supposed to act adversely. You're not supposed to you're not supposed to freak out. You're not supposed to have like a negative reaction to things. You're supposed to just be cool with whatever, You got
to worry about what other people think. Too.
Exactly. Right. The deer is not worried about what other people think. The deer is not worried.
Just shaking his ass.
Exactly. He's not worried about like having to explain anything to anyone and humans have to. So I think that there's like layers of self-awareness when it comes to being a human that actually make dealing with trauma very difficult.
Complicates it. It's more complicated.
100%.
Tommy,
100%.
Yeah.
We have a question that we ask every guest at the end of the podcast.
All right,
One day, surgeries are going to be really fucking good. Really, okay?
One day what?
Surgeries are going to be really good.
Surgeries?
Surgeries. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Who's like the hottest celebrity you can think of? Celebrity, not your girl, like a celebrity.
The hottest celebrity.
Like a woman.
Oh, see, that's a tough one, boss.
And it doesn't have to be the hottest, in your top 10, whatever.
I mean, can I give you two?
Yeah.
Because I have two that come to mind. All right, one is Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
Right? I've always had a thing for Nicole Kidman. And the other one is Sasha Grey. Right?
Nice.
Sasha, dude. Fucking genius, bro.
Okay. So Nicole Kidman, Sasha Grey. What about like a dude? Like a good-looking dude?
Good-looking dude? All right. Oh, good-looking dude. There's a lot of good-looking dudes, boss.
Yeah.
A lot of good-looking dudes,
something like
man.
Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth,
dude,
Hugh Jackman.
I fucking, I've always been a Brad Pitt fan.
Yeah,
boss.
you seem like a Russell. What's his name? Russell Brand.
Dude, Russell. I don't know about Russell Brand, but I like Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Okay.
Brad Pitt.
So one day, surgeries are gonna get so good where you can't tell the difference. Like already. Nowadays it's hard to tell with some people. They've done so many plastic surgeries, etc.
Right.
One day surgery is so good where like somebody who was born a male and is now transitioned into a female, you can't tell the difference. Their body parts look exactly the same, etc. So like imagine Sasha Kidman, everything about her is the same.
Right.
Everything. Breast, face, voice, but she's got a penis.
Right.
Or Brad Pitt, everything about him is the same, voice, body, etc., but he's got a vagina. You gotta go down on one. You're going down on him. You don't have to fuck him unless you want to later, but you're going down on him. You have to go down on one. Who are you going down on, boss?
Dude, see, that's tough, man. I don't know, dude. I mean, for me, I would probably just do a coin flip and let the universe decide, like I've done every other choice in my life, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but like, let's say like, that's fair. I mean, that's fair, but I feel like if we open this up,
I mean, technically, what I would probably do though, I would probably go with the Brad Pitt, right?
Brad Pitt with a vagina.
Because the reality is for me, like I like the vagina, boss. All right, I'm not
but
gonna
like
lie.
on Brad Pitt,
I'm a big fan, dude. I'm fucking, I'm going with the vagina, bro.
You're a big Fight Club fan, I see.
Dude, I love Fight Club, man. Like David Fincher, man. I have a whole story about Fight Clubs. I made friends with one of the editors. Got to go down and meet him in LA and like saw the Tron editing room when they were working on that. Some good Fight Club stories.
Tommy.
Yeah.
What are your socials? Where can people find you? What are your plans for the next few months? Hit them with it.
Dude, my socials, obviously today just announced a sponsorship with G Fuel.
Okay, congrats on that.
Which is really big, dude. They came to me a month ago. We worked out a great deal. I'm really excited to be working with them. wave of the future. All my socials are acting like Tommy.
Okay.
Straight up. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everything's just acting like Tommy. The next few months, dude, I have another big announcement coming on Friday. It's not an org, but it's another cornerstone piece in the digital empire, right?
I love that.
I'm still talking to some fucking orgs, but at the end of the day, I'm just gonna keep blowing up and keep chasing my passion, chasing my dream, showing up, entertaining, becoming the best fucking pro I can. I want to get better and better at the game, dude.
So you do want to focus on competitive.
2021, I'm focusing on competitive. 2021, I hired Aimer 7. I got an aim routine that I'm doing as close to daily as I can to just get my aim cracked, right? And then I'm working on YouTube. Once the YouTube is 100K and I pass it off, I'm going to even start working more on my mechanics.
We need to start doing that coaching.
Dude,
Arab,
we're gonna do it.
We will
I just want to wait until I'm a little better fighter because I don't want to die the first time I get in a fight.
Okay.
But let me get to be a little better fighter, dude. 6 months, 8 months from now, and we're on, dude. We're gonna go fucking win some shit, baby. AOT Arab rules the world.
Hell fucking yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Look at these slippers, dude. My bumble slippers.
Listen, if you guys listen to the podcast, make sure to follow Tommy. His socials are in the description, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. That's right. We're on all of them, pumping out Branders content everywhere. If you want more Branders content, it's up here. Watch the vlogs, the podcast, whatever it is. Make sure to check out Tommy. We'll see you boys the fuck later.
Dude,
Peace.
Thank you so much, guys.
Later.
Dude,
So much,
it's been